This is Local Edition. Brad Pomerance here in San Diego County, joined by Jim Desmond. He is the mayor of San Marcos. He's announced his intention to run for the Board of Supervisors in San Diego County in 2018. And there's a reason that you have made that announcement, because San Diego County is about to see a significant change in its Board of Supervisors through
term limits that now are taking effect. And the new term limit is 8 years.
Right.
And the current batch, or the previous batch of supervisors have been in place for 20 plus years.
What's remarkable, and we discussed this, we have a new supervisor. Her name is Kristen Gaspar.
Yes.
After 2018, is that right, or we get to 2020?
When we get to 2020, Kristen, the newest supervisor right now, is going to be the most senior supervisor in 3 years. Because there's going to be the turnover of the balance of the supervisors between now and then.
Right, because in 2018 we have 2 supervisors termed out.
Yes.
And then 2020, the other two
are termed
out.
Yes.
And so, look, there are pluses and minuses to every system we put in place.
Yeah.
You know, in the state, in Sacramento, some felt that the term limit of 6 in the Senate, 6 in the Assembly, 8 in the Senate was too tight, so it's been elongated. What's your sense?
Well, I think 8 years is too short of a term for just about any office. I think 12, actually the city of San Marcos, where I've been the mayor, I have been serving my 3rd term right now. And then we're termed out after 3 terms. So you get 12 years. And to be honest with you, as mayor, I'm getting a lot more done now in my 10th year than I did in my 2nd, 3rd, or 4th year.
And that's the argument.
Yes.
Is that, look, it takes a little while to A, find the bathroom, but B, understand the issues.
That's true.
And so, you know, we don't term out dentists. Or we don't term out, you know, photographers.
Well, I think it's good though to get some new points of view in though. And if you can't get it done within 12 years, then maybe you're not going to be able to get it done at all. But 8 years is a very short period of time, especially with a Board of Supervisors. It is a $5 billion a year budget, and they've got over 50 departments. So it's huge. The learning curve is very steep.
But could one argue we have term limits because every 4 years one runs for election?
Well, not like the term limits that we have right now, where it's only 8 years, so which is very short, which means essentially, even if every supervisor is elected twice, the churn is every 6 years, there's going to be a changeover of supervisors. So if you've got a project or you've got something you're trying to get done with the county, and you want to make sure it can be done in a shorter period of time, because if you start something and then all of a sudden the Board of Supervisors changes, it's going to be a little bit stifling as far as getting projects done. So hopefully things don't get scared away from the county of San Diego.
Right.
But we want to make sure that we're able to get things done. So, and even if staff doesn't like your ideas, they can just wait you out.
Right. So why do you think term limits was successful? It was voted upon, I believe.
Well, I think because and everybody, actually, all the Board of Supervisors have done a fantastic job.
Right.
So I'm not criticizing them at all. But I think that, it was very hard to beat an incumbent.
Right.
And after 20 plus years, maybe that was enough.
Right.
And so I think that's why it passed. And so now the only way to change it is going to be with another election.
Right. So let's talk about your move into the candidacy for one of the seats, one of the 5. It's District number 5.
Yes.
The area covers?
It's North County, San Diego. It's from Carlsbad, Oceanside, Vista, San Marcos, Valley Center, Fallbrook, out to Rainbow, out all the way out to Borrego. So it's a huge area. But what's really neat about it is actually there's a lot of opportunity. We got beaches, mountains, deserts. We've got 3 airports. We've got 2 major hospitals. We've got a university. We got 2 community colleges. It's got a lot of opportunity.
So I know it's early. I mean, very early.
Yes.
But I presume that you're starting to get a flavor for the issues that seem to be important to District 5 residents of San Diego County. What are you hearing from them?
Well, one of the biggest things, and not just District 5, but I think countywide, is infrastructure, streets and roads. And unfortunately, they have not been able to keep up with the streets and roads as good as they could, I think. And so I think that's an issue. Housing is also an issue. Housing, there's not enough housing, and yet nobody wants any housing community in their backyard. And so housing is an issue, and also water is still going to be an issue, even though we've gotten a lot of water here and rain and snow here recently, but there's a lot of agriculture. And so the ag folks want to make sure there's enough water. And then one of the other issues that's facing us is there's been a lot of prisoner releases and increasing the homeless in our communities, and the behavioral health issues have also come up.
Let's break it down. I want to talk about infrastructure because it's undeniable that in California we are facing a crisis with regard to road repairs. Local roads, now I think $79 billion, state roads $50-something billion. There are local solutions, there are state solutions, there are federal solutions. LA County looked toward a local solution in November, and they passed a transportation sales tax.
Yes.
San Diego did not.
Did not.
So where do you go with that? I mean,
well, we're going to have to find other pockets of money or come up with plans to make sure we keep up with our infrastructure. And one of the things that roads are graded on like a 0 to 100 scale. What we did in the city of San Marcos is we said we do not want our roads to go below a 70. And what we did is we started putting money aside every year, so that by about 6 years out, we're going to be able to 100% fund our infrastructure costs.
Which is wonderful for San Marcos. But the challenge becomes this county, like the rest of the state, is in serious need of infrastructure funding.
The county takes care of the county roads.
Okay.
And so the cities mostly take care of their own.
Right.
And then San Diego takes care of a lot of the highways and freeways.
Right.
The county has a responsibility for most of the backcountry roads, which is a different animal. We do get some money through Transnet, but the county is primarily responsible for the backcountry roads.
Let me ask you about the state, because as you know, the Democratic Party has taken a supermajority status in Sacramento. Whether one is in favor of that or not, the reality becomes that they are pushing for more transportation funding. They haven't been able to do it because they needed 2/3. Now they have 2/3. How it happens, could be gas tax, who knows. But assuming something happens, how does San Diego County leverage some of those dollars from Sacramento, whether you like their solution or not?
Well, I mean, it would be great to get more dollars from Sacramento, but we are going to have money to match that in most cases. And then, so we're kind of behind the curve with that, especially since LA passed I guess a whole cent sales tax increase.
Now, does San Diego County have any self-help transportation tax?
Well, we do have the Transnet tax.
Okay, so
we do have that, but it's actually now we've borrowed against it initially to get two big projects done, the I-5 and the Mid-Coast Trolley. And so we there are opportunities, but we're going to have to wait till some of that money builds up.
And so what do you? I mean, look, you know from what you speak, I can tell. What do you do? I mean, look, I'm not a betting man, but my guess is something happens on infrastructure this year. Sacramento's pushing, even the Trump administration's pushing.
The federal government's pushing as well. So we're hoping to have some of those dollars come to San Diego County, and we're meeting with our congressmen and trying to make sure that they realize the challenges and the needs that we have. So and I sit also on the transportation committee down in San Diego, so I'm actually very close to, it's near and dear to my heart.
Now, is any of District 5 in the city of San Diego?
No, it's all North County, San Diego.
Because as you may know, the mayor of San Diego is looking for I guess it's a TOT tax, and part of that would go to homelessness, to the convention center, and transportation.
Well, one of the things that we have a little dichotomy is we're mostly freeways. We got 3 major freeways in District 5, and San Diego is a lot more transit, transportation oriented. We are more freeway oriented. So what I think happened in the last election, there was a kind of a clash between the freeway and transit and folks, and so we've got a little bit of different needs. But I did want to say, as part of the campaign so far, I do have some very big endorsements. I have Bill Gores, the sheriff, the district attorney, Bonnie DeManis, and 2 of the current county supervisors, Greg Cox and Ron Roberts.
And you'll come back.
I will, absolutely.
He is Jim Desmond. He is the mayor of San Marcos, announced his intention to run for the Board of Supervisors in San Diego County. I'm Brad Pomerance. You're watching Local Edition.